Alright, does your Pontiac Bonneville or late model GM do this or not do that when you turn on the key? See how I'm having some issues with the gauges not sweeping? So what I'm going to do is replace the stepper motors. The procedure should be the same for, you know, Buick LeSabre, Impala, Monte Carlo, anything from the 2000s. I will show you how to remove a Bonneville cluster and how to replace those stepper motors after this. Alright, so I don't have the battery disconnected. I'm not too worried about it. But the ignition is off. Now, take a look in your Bonneville cluster. And there are these retaining clips here. There's two on the bottom and there's three up on the top. One, two, I don't know if you can see it. 2, 3. Essentially, you just depress it, push it over, do that 5 times. And like right now I'm trying to hold a phone and a flashlight and I don't have my tripod, so I will depress these tabs and get back to you. Okay, I have popped everything loose. I started down here and up here and put a little tension on it, and then I worked to this one and then these two. Now you want to be careful of this little rubber piece on the top of the steering column. See how it's coming? Push that down. Might have to tilt the wheel down a little more. See, she's getting a little stuck on the top there. So I'm going to tilt this top down. It's hard to do this when holding the camera. Man, I should have brought my tripod. Alright, so what I did here, I got the bottom, pulled it towards the bottom, and I got it up over this rubber hump. And I'm just gonna move it out the side. You see this. This is what you gotta like push down on. You gotta get the cluster up over that, out. And the connector, like the radio, it's a dock and lock. So you can just pull it right out. Alright, she's out. Now on to replacing the stepper motors. Alright, now with the cluster out of the car, we're back on the bench here. I got my steppers. Ordered a 6-pack. I believe this one came with lamps too. I'm not going to change any of the lamps out. I'll link this in the description. Got it from eBay. Got my soldering iron heating up. You know, you don't need one like this. As long as you got any old soldering iron, you're going to want to get some wick. Or one of those air suckers. That works too. Some masking tape. And I also got some of these pry tools. I don't know which one I'm going to use. Maybe this one. We'll see. And then these little bolts here are in the center. There's a little Torx, and my multi-driver has the correct bit. Can't tell you exactly what it is because it's not labeled. But this looks like it could possibly be also a 7mm. You're gonna want to. So we're gonna start by taking 5 screws out, holding these clips. We'll take them out, set them to the side. After that, the lens should, oh yeah, and there's little tabs here you pry open. We're gonna lift these tabs here. Where am I pointing? Oh, right there. Lift them up and get the back off. So, okay, first things first. Let's see if I can get in frame here. Take those out, set them to the side. Do this times 6. Another thing I'm going to do is I'm going to spray some glass cleaner on here and just clean the lens off. She's a little dusty. So, I know that I need to record this process here, so I'll take these out. There's one little detail I want to point out. So we're going to take the screw out. You'll notice there's an arrow on here. When you lift this clip out, it shows another little arrow right there. Let's see if I can get that in frame. It's not focusing. There it is. Right there. You can see that little arrow pointing the same way. So you know which way to reinstall these clips. You can use a shop towel. I might take a waffle weave just to get the streaks out, but it's not really that big of a deal. Now I'm going to flip my multi-tool over to the flat. I'm just going to go and pry these clips up gently. You don't want to break them. Yeah, if I can get the tool in there. Struggle, struggle, struggle. You get the gist. We can skip this part. Well, let's just say, alright, I got this tool here. Works better than the screwdriver. Prise them up gently. So scratch that part about using the screwdriver. If you have one of these, make short work of it. You don't have to worry about trying to fit the screwdriver in there. Work smarter, not harder. Okay, so that's broken free. And you can see there's two. Oh wait, there is one more right here on the bottom that needs to come up. It's a lot tougher to get out than the upper ones are. There we go. Okay, now one little tab here needs to get depressed. I think that's the only one. And, oh, there's one over here too. Seemed kind of odd that there'd just be one. This one we might need the screwdriver to go in the side. There. And are we free? I believe we're free. Oh shit, there's one more right here. It's been a while since I've done one of these, so there we go. Now the back is off. Okay, we're going to set that to the side. Now we're going to work on the front. So just basically push these tabs in. I could do this by hand. I usually want to start on the outside and work my way in. See, now it's starting to come apart. Yes, see, I forgot a couple more on the bottom here. Three, one, four. Three, sorry. One here. One, two, that should be it. I don't see one over here. There, lens is off. I want to say this is helpful. My workbench, I have this, it's called electrostatic discharge matting. Got it from a company I used to work at. Essentially, this is dissipates static charge. And it's helpful for this, and you should probably, you know, ground yourself to your screw on your switch plate cover on your outlet. Anyway, so what we're going to do is, this is the bad one. You can kind of tell it's making noise. You're going to put them all the way over. I'm going to do a sweep. All the way over till they peg. We're going to do that with all of them. Ooh, I went too far with that one. Let's see how you just rest them till they stop. You don't force them. It's real light. Now we're going to take some masking tape, break off a couple little pieces, and we're going to set them right under where the needles go. Just going to put the needle back. I'm going to do this to all 6. Now that you've done that to all of your gauges, you're going to take your pen, pencil, whatever, and you're going to mark this right. I'm trying to hold the camera and see this at the same time. You're going to put a mark right where this thing points. Maybe make sure your pen works before you do this. There we go. See how I think I'm a little bit off on that, actually. Trying to record and hold this phone as I'm looking out above the phone. I'll go back and redo this properly, but you get the point. You want this, every mark right where these needles are pointed, so when you have these all the way back, that's where you set them. Because we are going to have to remove these needles to get the motors out. So I'm going to go ahead and do that and do it accurately, and I'll check back with you. Alright, so now what we want to do is break these needles off. And now that you're marked, you can do a little twist and pull. Sometimes that works. In this case it's not, so I'm going to try very carefully to pry up on this thing with a little pry tool. You can also use like a plastic fork. That also works. Yeah, this is better. Boom. Alright, we got it off carefully. And these are, you know, all the small gauges are the same, all the big gauges are the same, so we don't really need to keep track of what needles go where. Yeah, this is this tool here. I think this is the one. This is perfect. These larger ones are a little difficult, but there we go. Small ones pop right off. Alright, all the needles are off. So now we're just gonna, this should lift off. Are there any clips? There shouldn't be any clips holding this on. No, this comes right out. Or does it? Nope, the Bonneville's got it. Oh, the driver info center is clipped in. Ah, I forgot about that. Okay. We got some clips holding the info center in. Yeah, let's see here. I thought this came out differently. Oh, Bonneville cluster, you confound me so. Alright, so my hang-up was the driver info center and the odometer. It's just glued onto the back of that board. The glue, or the tape, was really stiff. So I can get this out now, and you see how that tape kind of stuck. But now we're out, and you can see where these motors are. You can kind of get an image of how they mount. So basically what we got to do is find where that motor is there. Actually, you can see the plastic tabs holding them in. We're going to unsolder these connectors, and let's get this open. You can see on these new motors how they go. See, they have 4 pins on them, 1, 2, 3, 4, and they only mount a certain way. So as you can see, 1, 2, 3, 4, we'll unsolder those 4 points, and the motor should theoretically pop right out. So I got my solder sucker, and I also got a little tiny needle in those pliers because I noticed these leads are a little bent. They bent them in. So the iron's good and hot. We're just going to go ahead and see if we can get that in frame. Melt the solder on here. Put your wick over it. There's a couple little other soldered points right next to it you don't want to get to. We're just going to hold this on there until all the solder goes into the... There it is. Till all the solder goes into the wick. Okay, that melted. I might need to cut my wick down a little bit. So another thing, I'm going to take my needle nose and straighten these leads out. Just so when I'm going to put a little pressure down on the lead as I heat it. That should get it loose. Theoretically. You can get them to pop through the board doing that. So I got one loose, and these leads are all mangled. I kind of found that if I put the little pry tool around the perimeter of it, it would make it come loose. And I'm going to go over one more time with the solder sucker just to get all the old solder out. Just to make sure I can pop the new ones in just fine. Now, as you see on the new motor, it says X27. Those are the ones you want. And this old one is a X15. Those are the junk ones. You'll see the 2 tabs here and here, and they line up. They line up right here and here. So we'll line these in. Try to, anyway. Yep. I'll turn it around and make sure I got the leads going in the right spots. So that's the other side of the board. It's a little clearer how these go, like this. Yep, I gotta clean those holes up a little bit. Get the rest of the solder out from the top, and then that should drop right in. And then repeat 5 more times. Yeah, see, this has everything on here looks, oh, these aren't LEDs. Oh, this kit came with lamps. I am not going to replace any of these lamps. Okay, see, I got the new motor in. What I ended up doing was I just took the soldering iron to each terminal. As I pushed pressure, it would heat a terminal up and just go around and around until it heated it up enough to where it finally seated all the way down. Now she's in. I'm going to throw a little bit of solder on there, and then you repeat 5 more times. I'm going to do that, and I won't bore you with the details there. Just a little tip I thought I'd share. So I got the stepper motor out, and I went back over with the solder sucker and put the iron over the top here, and this got all the solder out. So now you just make sure the legs are lined up, and this should just drop right in. That was a little stubborn. I think I might have a little bit in that one, but now it fits in. Now you go flip it around and then bend the tabs over to the side and then hit it with some solder. Alright, so I got all the new steppers in. These leads, I left them long because the factory leads were really long. And I bent them. I don't want to, like you see, there's another pad there. I don't want to get any solder or get these leads crossed over to those at all, so I bent them away. Some of these I just bent them in whatever direction folds away from those. I'm just gonna go dab some solder on all these now, all 6. I got the gun heating up. A little bit of my solder there. We're just gonna see if I can get this in frame. It's not heating up. You hold it on the pad and the lead and bring the solder, flow the solder in. This is not. I just turned the iron back on 2 minutes ago. It must not be hot enough. Yep, gun needs to heat up a little more. Cut! Alright, I think we're hot now. Just throw a little on there. Yep, this is melting really nice now. So we go do this 6 times. Alright, and there we go. Wait, where is that one? Right there. Oh, there we go. Looking pretty good. Not bad for a shade tree. Okay, let's get this put back together. I got the back cover. And I got this squared in pretty good. I think these tabs locate it. I think, yeah, they do. Alright. Now, I wish this went up higher. Let's just start with a little one. I'm going to put it down on the little post. Oh, let's get the camera on there. Try to center it on there. And I'm just going to dial it back. Put a little bit of pressure on here. A little bit. And then now you'll feel some resistance. I'm going to push this, force it to the line, and then push it down just a little bit. You don't want to smush it all the way down. Now you see where it goes back to the line where I drew. Oh, listen to that smooth operation. So you're going to do that to the rest of them. Let's try out the speedometer. I'm going to set it in, put it in the center. A little bit of pressure, a little bit, not all the way down. You see it meets some resistance there. I'm just going to dial it back to the line. Make sure, there we go. Press it in a little more. There we go. Might have went a little past, so I'm just going to dial it back here till it meets resistance and give it a little bit of a tug. Perfect. Now I'll go do that to the rest. Same procedure. Alright, all the needles are on. We're back where we need to be. Now, I don't know if the camera's picking it up, but I'm just making sure these are all pretty much the same height. We're close. These look like they're farther down, the two on the end, but they're really not. So now that that's done, you can push them out of the way and peel up your tape carefully. Okay. Now we're going to take our freshly cleaned bezel, line everything up. Going to click this in first. Oh, it already clicked. Okay, so these need to go in. Click, click, click. 3 on the top. And how many we have on the top? 5. Yeah. These all just snapped right in real nice. Alright, we're ready to go back in the car. And we are not ready to go back in the car. We got to put these clips back in. So, before I said I didn't know what these were, I measured the, if you want to do the hex, it's a 5.5 mil, and the inside Torx is a T15. I'm using the T15s. So remember, like I said, how you line up the arrow. Well, basically you just look for which way the clip goes in. Drop it in, screw it in place. Times 5. basically all there is to that. And now we're ready to go back on the car. Before we do, just wanted to say this is pretty much the same for any like early to mid 2000s GMs. I did this exact thing on the 04 Impala probably like 8 years ago, and those stepper motors are still holding up. Mine was the speedometer was erratic. Sometimes it wouldn't even work. Sometimes it would say you're going 120 when you're going like 30. Same procedure. To remove that one from the dash, you got to take that whole trim panel out. I think that one was held in by 4 bolts. Could be wrong. But anyways, you know, like your Bonnevilles, the Sabres, Impala, Monte Carlo, the GM trucks, the GMT 800s. I think they all had these shitty stepper motors. I'm pretty certain the 06 and up Impalas don't have these because I haven't heard of those having any issues. So basically you're replacing these X15s with the X27s. So let's get it put back in the car. Okay, now we're back in the car. Let's put this cluster back in. We're just going to go the same way we took it out. I have to put the wheel down. Get it up and over that rubber piece right there again. Force it if you have to. Now it leaves me questioning, did I go this way or did I go the other way? Of course I'll have to go back and watch that. Well, let's try it this way. No, see, I was right the first time. It's this rubber piece you need to get up and over. Okay, now we're up and over. Just engage it. Yeah. Make sure I got those clips in there. Yeah, she's lined up. That is, anyway. Okay. I think, let's get this one. This bottom one isn't going. Why isn't this bottom one going? There it is. In? Yep, we're in. I think. Oh, that one just seems loose. The rest of these are all in. What am I caught up on here? Oh, you know what I did? I forgot to bring that. Oh, man. Okay. Alright. Make sure this plug is sitting out over here. Now, let's try it again. Let me mount the light back up here. Can we see? Alright, let me take a look. Make sure we're there on all 5. Yes, alright, we'll bring you in close here. That's snapped in, that's snapped in, That's in, that's in, and that's in. So let's turn the ignition on. Man, that sunshine. Let me see the keys there. Let's see what she does now. Yeah, see? Alright, so that's how you replace your stepper motors on your early to mid 2000s GM dash cluster. If you found this informative, please give me a thumbs up. Like, comment, share, subscribe as we hear the suspension jacking up on this car. Hit the bell and we'll see you in the next video. Thanks for checking out my channel.